Conservatives are living in a completely different information world
Absolutely.
than liberals. And breaking that down needs to be done. Because when you don't ever even hear the facts, it's hard to even know that you're wrong. And that happens a lot. I mean, half my job sometimes is knowing what the latest conspiracy is, so that if it comes up, I'm ready to address it. Because it happens a lot where people don't even know that what they're saying or what they've seen and believe is not true. And so that happens a lot. And I don't come away from that saying, what's the point of this? People are just saying false things. I think that one time that person brings up something that is debunked and false, and I debunk it at the table, might be the very first time that someone out there has heard an alternative.
You said, quote, "I've drunk deeply of the venom of both the left and the right. As a connoisseur, I can confirm that the most poisonous, the bitterest, is from the far left." That is pretty remarkable to hear you say that as an elected Democrat. Why?
No. It's just been my personal experience on this thing. And when I asked my digital team, I said, we're on all the platforms. Really, what's kind of the harshest? What's kind of the most personal? And the answer was immediate. He said, "Oh, blue sky. It's blue sky." And the difference is, the right would say really rough things and names. Some names I won't repeat on TV, but on the left, it was like they want me to die, or that we're cheering for your next stroke, or that's terrible that depression won. Why couldn't it depression won? And I hope your kids find you. They even have like the graphic, a GIF where they have like a stroke, in your head, cheering at that. Yeah, and they said that. I remember one, they claimed, the doctor let us down, and why did they have to save his life? Just really, I just can't imagine. People are wishing, I wish he dies, or I want him to die, literally cheering for a stroke. And I don't know what the kind of a place where that comes from. That's much different than just calling me a name. That's really been consistent, in that community online.
That's the left. That's the world we know. So he needs to let Abby Phillip and Joy Reid know, because they're clueless. What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts. Of course, we have Nicole Bennett.
Hey, y'all.
And Shelly E.
Hi.
All right. We have so much to talk about tonight, from John Fetterman's statements to President Trump's interview with Laura Ingraham last night to senior trafficking in Baltimore City and more. But before we light this fire, do your part, tap that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications. We are live here on YouTube and Rumble. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out every super chat. So drop your thoughts, show your love, and join the conversation that the mainstream media wishes didn't exist. Folks, this is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. What a difference we saw in those interviews, a difference in the interviews. And it was very striking, where you had Abby Phillips and Joy Reid basically saying conservatives don't have a grasp on reality when it comes to conspiracy theories. And then you had John Fetterman saying with the left, he's totally opposite of what the Democrats and the left say, that the left are actually the most violent. Shelly, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's kind of funny, except that it's really sad. What happens is, and we've been knowing this for a long time, we on the right, we think that the left, by and large, progressives, I'll say, we think that they are wrong. In some cases, some of the things that they may say or do are evil, but they think that we are literally subhuman and deserve death for whatever it is that we think. That is the great divide, if you will. Yes, there are a lot of people in the middle. We have known to be in the middle, more moderate. So, but not, those bets have been off, particularly since I think it was July 13th last year when some bullets, grazed past President Trump's ear. Yeah. That was the clarion wake-up call. There were some incidents before, Steve Scalise being shot and along the way, but that was definitely, I think, the wake-up call for a lot of conservatives to say they really want us dead.
Yeah, absolutely. And before I get you in on this, Nicole, I want to remind everybody, YouTube is doing something different going forward. So we're broadcasting on YouTube live in 2 separate streams. There's one stream for you to watch on your cell phones, and then there's another stream to watch from your computers or TV. So you'll see a vertical way and you'll see a landscape way. So if you make sure you're on the right broadcast. If you're looking at it right now and it's coming across weird as far as the way it looks on your screen, go to our YouTube page and make sure you're on the right one based on how you're watching. Oh. Okay, so if you're watching from your cell phone, you got to go to the one that's vertical. If you're watching from your TV or your laptop, you're going to go to the one that's more horizontal. All right. So, Nicole, what did you think about what we just saw?
John Fetterman is right. Mm-hmm. There is, seems like they have much more time to be hateful than most people do. I mean, you're sitting around making gifts, wishing this guy had even more of a stroke or depression had taken him out. It seems like the vitriol for them is not philosophical. They don't hate the policy. They literally hate the person. And we had Jay Jones talking about, wanting to see his Democrat opponents' children die in their mother's arms. Right. That's some sick shit. I'm just going to tell you that's beyond the pale. That's not, I don't agree with your tax policy. I don't agree with your transportation project. I want you off the face of the earth. And I think it really goes back to the crabs in the barrel theory. Mm-hmm. Everything about what they believe is at risk when someone is free thinking. Right. Yeah. And I think this is their way of trying to scare people back into the barrel.
Yeah, I agree, Nicole. And they're clueless. And the thing that really got me, going back to Abby Phillips from CNN on with Joy Reid, they are so clueless. Now, you heard her say that because she has to, her job on CNN, which she's not doing a good job. Her job on CNN is to combat conspiracies from conservatives because we are so far removed from reality. Newsflash, most of culture, movies, politics, media is on the left. Mm-hmm. We're living in a leftist world. It's them who have to, a light bulb needs to go off because they're the ones who don't get a conservative or a right-leaning opinion. What did you think of what she said as far as that, Shelley?
I think Abby Phillip was just gaslighting.
Yes.
Largely gaslighting. The fact that most of the time she only puts out quote unquote facts or points that only uphold her side. If she's going to be the moderator, she's not pretty moderate, okay? Mm-hmm. So that's just gaslighting. She's missing a bigger point. She needs to come prepared with understanding how or what the other argument is, so that you can not only just argue your point, you'll be prepared to know how to respond, or at least what the other side is thinking. That's like you said, they don't even have a clue.
Right. They're absolutely clueless. But what's more interesting about what she said, it's actually true, but against her point of view. Mm-hmm. When she talks about there are times when people have never heard the truth, you can watch the show any given day and see Scott Jennings, and you can see the light bulbs over top of their heads when he points out objective truth to them. For them, truth is something that, is very fluid. For us, truth is truth. Your opinion is your own. Right. They're like elbows and assholes. Everybody got one. But a fact is a fact. And it doesn't change whether you believe in Democrat policies or conservative or Republican policies. If the sky is blue, the sky is blue. There's no wiggle room for that. And I think she lives in a place and has come up through this thing where it's a really interesting phenomenon. You don't actually read what the sentence says and take in that information. You're trying to read between the lines to try to figure out what they're trying to say. Read the words. The words are what we're trying to say. We don't need you to read into your own understanding. Follow the facts.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And it just goes to show what John Fetterman said. I mean, and you saw the look on Dana Bash's face, the CNN correspondent. It's remarkable. We all know that this is going on. Yeah. We are Black conservatives. We get this all day, every day from white liberals, from the left. You know, from leftists in general. They're nasty, they're enraged, they're insane. And guess what? Most of us on the right, we started out on the left. Many people on the right started out on the left. I'm willing to say more on the right started out on the left and vice versa. Absolutely. So we know both sides. We understand how it was when we were Democrats. It wasn't like conservatives or Republicans were hurling racial insults at us and things like this, like we get now. But John Fetterman is starting to see now that he's taking a more moderate position that the left is just nasty.
Right.
Absolutely.
And one thing that the left never does, they never stop for introspection.
Right.
Never. They never stop to say, okay, how have I contributed my side, whatever the case may be. They are quick to point out, and maybe some ways they might be right, some faults, if you will. Okay, whatever those faults may be, but they never do it for themselves. They expect the right to do it, and they want to hold us to account, but they will never take accountability for what they do, their policies, the things that they say, the rhetoric that incites all kinds of violence. No, it's only one way. And this is part of the reason why they have up these blinders, if you will, and they can take this so-called moral high ground of superiority, elitism, because they're much better than that. When their side has shown over time, historically, that most in 99.99% of what they put out damages our country.
Yeah, absolutely. And the crazy thing about this is, again, we've been on both sides and we've seen this. And for example, remember during COVID when they said that we weren't allowed at Christmas dinner and Thanksgiving because if you hadn't taken the shot, the cold dinner, they wanted to separate families.
But they try to make the world as flat as possible because you're easier to control, and you can't believe in anything greater than them, or there's a problem. I mean, our church, when COVID restrictions would not let us be indoors, said, fine, we'll, have it out on the front lawn. Oh, no. Well, wait a minute. So you said it has to be not indoor. So the opposite of indoor is outdoor. Are you following my logic? No, you guys can't get together. Okay, we'll sit 6, feet apart. No, it's still not enough. It's like, okay, so what you're trying to say is you just don't want me to worship with my community members.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to do this. Everybody meet me in my backyard in the shed because I got electric and my neighbors don't care. A big fence on both sides. So a lot of people kind of worked around their logic, but what we should have done in that moment is call them out on it. What we should have did is took a harder line stance. I will say this, and I mean it from the bottom of my soul. Fauci belongs in prison for what he's done to the world. He belongs absolutely under the jail. He's gone in prison for what he's done to the world. But when we're talking about Democrats and that vitriol that they have, again, they really believe it. It's like a spiritual thing for them.
Oh, yeah. They're insane.
I've been called everything. A DEI hire, that's the new thing. I love that. I mean, that tickles me. Oh, you're a DEI hire. Really? Really? You don't know how hard I've worked for this party. This party belongs to me. I don't belong to this party. Yeah, give me a break. I've held more gavels than you've ever seen and still do. But I'm the DEI hire. You just started voting Republican when Trump came along. So don't talk to me until you learn a little bit of the history. So we get that a lot from new Republicans, right? Who just made that transition from Democrat to Republican. But old school Democrats of a certain age, they're just straight up hateful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, straight up hit. The one guy said, like, I know your parents aren't proud of you. I was like, what? Because I'm voting different than you? Get out of here.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with their mind. That woke mind virus is very active.
It really is. Folks, you guys sound off in the chat and let us know what you think. I see we have some super chatters here. Thank you all so much.
Hey,
all right.
CJ.
Yes, Kung Fu CJ with a $2 super chat says, hello, my Poppin' Politics family. Kung Fu is here. All right. Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Josh.
Yes, the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Says, me too, Kung Fu. Everyone should like and forward today's clip titled, What I Learned About the Government Shutdown and Obamacare. Yes, we did put that out. He says, the ladies do an excellent job of explaining a very complex issue.
Thank you, Josh.
Yes.
High praise.
We got to shout out our mods in the chat room. I saw, let me see if I can name them without looking at them. Kind of saw Kimmy, Allie, S-Files, Momo. There's, of course, Kung Fu. We have, is there a Morgan there? We have Laura and Josh and so many others. I know I'm going to forget Momo. And I think I saw William. Yes. Hi, William. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you. Someone said something about your boots, Nicole. I said the same thing too.
Thank you.
So we see them. We're going to get through them all. Thankfully blessed. Albert there. Thank you following us from Aruba.
Albert, we need to come visit you.
Keep the comments coming. Keep the likes, shares, and subscribes coming as well. I got a response for your DEI accusation next time.
Okay.
Someone says, yeah, you're a DEI. I say, thank you. I am working for my own damn economic interest.
You know what, Shelley? She kills me with, you're absolutely right. But usually I just look at them real strange.
I just thought of that just now you said that.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, I am a DI. Thank you.
All right. You
I just
guys
tell
heard
them
it here
that,
first. You heard it here first. All right. So moving right along, folks, again, as you all come in, please hit that like button, whether you're on the cell phone broadcast or you're on the TV or laptop broadcast. Hit that like button. We need to do that. That helps to tell YouTube to forward this video out in front of a wider audience. And we appreciate your support. Also, what are you waiting for? If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. That way we become a community. We become a tribe, folks. We need to stick together, particularly in this time.
Yes.
This is what it's all about. Like-minded, value-driven, similar values. We need to come together and stand up for this country. All right. So speaking of that, we got to talk about this Laura Ingraham interview with President Trump. All right, folks. So, you know, we give it to the left big time on here. We stick it to them. We keep our boots on their necks. We Derek Chauvin them like you would not believe. Okay. But we got to go over this Laura Ingraham interview with Trump. Okay, so President Trump sat down with Laura Ingraham of Fox News yesterday, and let's just say the mask might have slipped. All right, while the left screams about globalism and big tech control, Trump is out here openly talking about bringing in foreign investors to build massive AI data centers. Sounds exciting on the surface, but who's actually going to benefit here? Spoiler alert, not the American people. Take a look here. This is clip 1.
Have to talk about it later.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out.
So let's stop it for just a second. So first off, I want to say, and I want to get you guys a quick response. This is an interview.
Yes.
This is an interview, okay? This isn't a Tucker Carlson sit with your thumb in your mouth and yeah, I agree. No, whether you agree or disagree with Trump, Laura Ingraham asked tough questions and then she followed up. What did your first take on this, Nicole?
So I knew,
just the interview style before we get into it.
I knew it was going to be a great interview because although Laura is absolutely a conservative, she is also an American taxpayer.
Absolutely.
So she's going to hold his feet to the fire. She's going to ask him the tough questions. She'll listen. This is the difference that you're hearing. It's not only the challenging, but her listening to the answer and coming with an intelligent follow-up, not the one that's pre-written, but based on what he said to her. And I think that's where this interview set it apart from him with Margaret Brennan and anybody else I forget the little Chinese lady's name. But those interviews, they had preconceived questions and stuck to the script. She spoke to him and followed up with it.
Yeah, it's called critical thinking.
Yes.
Is that correct, Shelley?
Absolutely. I loved it. I loved it because number one, it was quick pace. He gave, she gave, whatever. He answered, he responded. But I also, we do have to get into, I don't want to go further.
Go ahead.
And before we move on, I want to say this, to Trump's credit, he was no Kamala Harris, okay? He was able, whether you liked his responses or not, he did give cogent responses. And, he was able to, you could tell this was not he did not know these questions prior to the interview. He was really thinking about them and responding to the questions.
Very
all right.
thoughtful.
Yes. Let's go on.
That made batteries all their lives. Making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
This idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States. We have about 350,000 Chinese. One point during COVID, you were going to, push to, get them out, but that was pulled back. You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position when so many American kids want to go to school and there are places not for them, and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money?
Sure. Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have, China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
Well, I think that's a big deal.
Are they fans
You would have the
of the United States?
Yeah, but you would have, as you know, historically, black colleges and universities would all be out of business. You would have a system of colleges and universities would
so
go
we're
down
dependent on China to keep our university system going?
But I think it's good to have, I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look, I want to be able to get along with the world.
They're not the French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our intellectual property.
What, do you think the French are better?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French where we get taxed very unfairly on our technology, where they put 25% taxes on American products. Look, assuming everyone treats us badly, because that's the way I am, but we take in trillions of dollars from students. The students pay more than double when they come in from most foreign countries. I want to see our school system thrive, but at the same time, I know you and I disagree. We're never going to agree on it, but that's okay. And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business. We have millions and millions of people. Also, I want to get along with countries if possible. People are shocked. Remember, Hillary Clinton said, we'll be in a war. I stopped 8 wars in the last 9 months. I don't want to be in wars. If I am in a war, we're going to win the thing fast, and it'll be violent. But you know what? I don't want to be in wars. But one thing, you don't want to cut half of the people, half of the students from all over the world that are coming into our country, destroy our entire university and college system. I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else. And MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
All right. All right. So lots to unpack there.
There's a lot.
Let's dig in. So I want to start off with you, Shelley, because I know you were always a big fan of Elon. So quiet as it's kept, what President Trump was just saying about the Chinese students, about the tech and bringing over these immigrants with this H-1B1, it was the same. Elon Musk was saying that first. When he came into the administration here and was doing the Doge, he was one of the first to bring this up, and he got pushback. He said, we don't have people skilled here to do the work. What's your response to that?
My response is three things. Number one, I do like Elon. I still like Elon. What Elon is representing, of course, is a business. From his business, the Chamber of Commerce perspective, let's say that. What I disagree with is that, and I'm going to tie, and you said something the other day when we were on about, you said it takes time. Let's give it time. President Trump just came into office. We can take time, but guess what? Americans have been paying along the way all this time. It's time to start using American talent here, training these people. Again, the bottom 20%, the middle class, our middle class has shrunk over the last 30, 40, 50 years. We need to build that back up. This gap between top 1% or the top 10% and the bottom is too big. It's too big of a gap because there's no middle class filling it in. Right. So that's number 1, 2, or 3, whatever number you want to put a number on it. Not only that, President Trump has campaigned on America first. America, not Chinese. I'm not saying the Chinese don't have some skills. I'm not even saying get rid of the whole H-1B visa program. I'm saying start with Americans. We have many Americans here that cannot and do not have sustainable jobs. Whatever entry level or sustainable to take care of themselves. And that means you and I, all of us, are going to continue paying for them. I know this is a business perspective, a commerce perspective. We need those jobs. We need Elon Musk technology jobs, things like that. But we also need Americans trained so that we can continue to man and operate in those jobs, passing down our wealth, building up our wealth. We have too many people can't even buy homes, young people. We want them to start families. All these things tied together. Again, I think President Trump is wrong on this one. America first. Not only that, last thing, not only that, he also campaigned on, just a few weeks ago, we were talking about this. Is he going to bring over these immigrants or not many Chinese immigrants or whatever. And these are legal, but I don't give a damn. I'm like Laura. I don't give a damn about our university system being cut in half. We got a whole lot of people who have student loans who went to school and the schools helped to get in debt. So this is all cyclical or circular to me. These things all feed into each other. America first. Put money and jobs in America's pockets first.
All right. So Nicole, I want to get where the rubber meets the road. I want to get rid of all the slogans. Let's talk about the real brass tacks on this stuff. Sure. We're against DEI, right?
Yes.
All right. So we know that with the colleges and universities, Asian Americans were bringing suit because these colleges were not taking people based off of their testing and the scoring and who was the best candidate to get into colleges, who's the best candidate to get into jobs. Okay. Now, when we're talking about these occupations, STEM, the data shows that these Chinese, Africans, Indians, they are at the top of the class when it comes to these occupations.
Sure.
We want the best. I agree. We need to train Americans, but it's going to take some time to train these people. So are we actually advocating for a roundabout way as far as DEI when we're saying bypass these people who can do it now, who already are well ahead of, I hate to say it, some Americans in these fields and take Americans first? Is that a form of DEI?
I don't think it's a form of DEI because when you think about it from a business perspective, he doesn't care if they're purple, green, polka dot, it makes no difference. What he's saying from a business perspective as an employer myself, I don't care what you look like. If you have the skill set that I need and you check that box, you have the right kind of attitude, I'm going to take you.
But he's saying the skill is coming from bringing in these immigrants from this H-1B.
Well,
visa
so
program.
here are some things that come along with that visa.
Okay.
The salary is going to be much lower than they would have to pay Americans.
Exactly.
This is why you see huge tech companies like Amazon laying off quote unquote regular people, which was code for Americans,
Right.
and wanting more and more H-1B visas to come in because they can pay them pennies on a dollar for the same work, if not more. Right? Because these people come from countries where a 40-hour work week means, you had a baby yesterday. They work all day long,
Right.
hard and long. And just for the gift, the privilege of being here in the United States, even if it's for a short time, is well worth them working like a Hebrew slave for pocket change. Now, here in the United States, you're hard pressed to get people to work more than 40 or 50 hours in a week. They look at you like, what am I, a slave? I'm not doing that. Our culture is very different. I understand what the president is saying. Shelley has it right from a business perspective. It makes good sense. Bring in the people who can train up your masses. However, that's way too many.
Yeah.
600,000 is way too many. The CCP is somewhere having a ticker tape parade because they know they're going to make some money. We cannot afford that many unless he's dropping them all in Dearborn, Michigan. I solved the problem. I solved it. It's fixed.
Yeah.
Pick them up and drop them with the Somalis and the Syrians. Let them duke it out. The last man standing is the guy who's going to teach the STEM courses.
Well, here is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent today. Trump's interview aired last night. Of course, MAGA is upset. And here is Treasury Secretary sort of trying to kind of gloss it over in clip 2. Take a look.
There's 20, 30 years we have offshored precision manufacturing jobs. And the president's point here is we can't snap our fingers and say, you're going to learn how to build ships overnight. We want to bring semiconductor industry back to the U.S. There are going to be big facilities in Arizona. So I think the president's vision here is to bring in overseas workers where these jobs went.
Who have skills.
Who have the skills, 3, 5, 7 years to train the U.S. workers. Then they can go home. The U.S. workers fully take over.
So do you understand the concern that people have? Hey, an American could have that job. Why you give it to a guy from
But an American can't have that job.
So it's specific skills.
Because we haven't built ships in the U.S. for years. We haven't built semiconductors. So this idea of overseas partners coming in, teaching American workers, then returning home, that's a home run.
Gotcha. Mr. Secretary, thanks.
All right. So I want to ask you, Shelley. So what's the fix here? Should we ban Chinese students from U.S. universities to protect our tech jobs? Or is Trump's good for business line holding water?
I think Laura had it right. Who cares if half the universities, I mean, what are they teaching? Number one, there's a gap. There's another opening that we have. Technical schools, vocational training. We're putting all this money into all these other, let's get these people trained. Americans, I don't care if they're black, white, whatever. I'm not talking about that. Let's get them trained. When is the training going to start? When is it ever going to start so that Americans can be trained? They can have the skills. And not only that, they're going to bring over the Chinese or whomever with the skills to train the Americans. Okay, that means from that business, you're paying 2 salaries technically, because you might pay one at a little bit lower because they're apprentice rates or whatever, but you're still paying 2 salaries. Train the people, get the training done. I have a quick solution. January 1, if you need a job, you're a student or you need some skills or unemployed, January 1, you can show up at this line, whatever, submit your application, your credentials, get your background check, and get your ass up 9 to 5 and go start getting some training. Right. Maybe there's some stipends that go along with that or whatever, but we need to be a little bit more stringent and strategic about when we're training, who we're training, why we're training, and how we're going to do that. If we're subsidizing them anyway, put them to work. How else are they going to get the skills?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of you. I know some people in the tech field, and from what I'm hearing, many of these specialized jobs, we don't have the people to perform them.
I agree.
It's not so much about the training and things. We just don't have the people to perform them at the level that we need it done. So, I mean, I agree. I think we do need to start training people. Hopefully we have people that want to train in these jobs.
Well, that's the
question. Another one. I mean, from what the data I'm finding, finding that was another issue where there's a gap in people who actually want to do these types of jobs in a specialized way.
It's a culture issue.
Right.
It is very much a culture issue. Here in our culture, we like people who can run fast, who can catch a ball, who can sing a song or dance across the stage. So our children aspire to that. In other cultures, they appreciate scientists, engineers, builders for the work that they do. Architects. You don't hear little kids saying, "Oh my God,
yes,
I want to be an architect when I grow up." No, everybody wants to be Beyonce.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody even wants to be
work for the government.
Exactly. They find peace and solace in things that they're probably never going to obtain.
Right.
Like where the top 1% of people land. In the meantime, you still got to feed yourself, right? So why not come and get these skills? I agree with you, Shelley, that there should be a national training kind of push. There should be national ads that come out and say, hey, we're looking for people. You don't have to already be an engineer, but you do have to have some kind of hand-eye coordination. Listen, if you play video games, this is your moment, right? Come on out, train up. We're going to get you into these jobs. And for every one of the HB1 visas that they allow these tech companies to have, they need to hire 10 Americans.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what
We got to get some kind of ratio going here. And I hate to put restrictions and regulations on business. I am pro-business. Right. God knows that. However, if we're trying to change the culture, it's going to take more than just bringing the Chinese and some more Indians in. We have to change the culture. There has to be an ad push. They have to start teaching in the schools and, getting these blue-haired teachers to talk to these kids about anything other than being another sex is going to be hard.
That's what we do in the military, Nicole. Military, bring them in. Of course, they meet basic, aptitude.
Yes.
They give them a skill. They train them physical, all that stuff. Another thing we could do, instead of just giving out education loans and grants, taxpayer money, how about tying some benchmarks to them? For every school that gets education or taxpayer money to go to school, you have to have a student that has a skill, whatever that skill may be, a viable, marketable skill. Now, they may not become an engineer and architect, but they will know how to do something.
To build the battery.
Right. They know you can't just go to get our money and then go, oh, I'm going to change my major this year. I'm going to be a psychologist this year, and I'm going to study nail painting. No, a viable, marketable skill. And I bet you there will be a demand or supply to meet that. The vocational schools will show up more and more.
Well, I mean, honestly, and I agree with both of you ladies, but the culture needs to change. Sure. We are starting way too late with this stuff, okay?
Right.
I have a friend whose son went to a Chinese preschool, okay, and they are working on this STEM, the mechanics of this at like 3 years old. Okay, college is way too late. The culture needs to change. Our educational system needs to change. We need to start, putting the mindset of math, of science and things like that in these children at a very young age. And because we're way behind, we're generations behind in these other companies when it comes to this type of work.
Yep.
We have some super chatters here, folks. Thank you all so much. All right, let's see here. All right, we have,
Alpha Buckeye, thank you. It says, Laura exposed Trump sellout to America First, DeSantis 28. Thank you, Alpha. Chadwick, thank you for your $5 super chat. So this is why I love my ladies. We love you too. They call bullshit no matter what, or no matter who it is. The ladies of pop in politics are truth seekers. Shameless plug. All right, thank you, Chadwick. I want to call out some more people in the chat because I don't want them coming for us. Okay, who else did I miss earlier? Some of our mods. Sarah, Jessica, Agatha. Thanks, Josh, for your $9.99 super chat. It says, in Russia, the kids decide with their teachers and parents what field they will socialize in or specialize in. Yes, thank you, Josh. Yeah, we're too late, KJ. I agree. We are far, far too late. But we can't keep kicking this ball down the curb.
Listen, the one thing that America has going for it, and it is a very specialized thing that America has going for it, is our military, our war fighters. If we were Canada, I'm telling you, we would be speaking Chinese right now.
Right.
We would all be speaking Chinese right now. So there is, from their perspective, a race with America. We're just hanging around being great. We're like, okay, well, we're number one. Woohoo. But we don't even feel these people breathing on the back of our necks. So what Trump is saying is not only are they breathing on our neck, they've passed us up.
Right.
We need to hurry up and catch them up. Now,
I should have told you this. To your credit, I'm sorry. I had a plumber come to my home the other day last week.
Butt crack?
No, he wasn't butt crack. But guess what? Less than an hour. Guess how much? $350.
Wow.
Less than an hour. Lawyers' fees. Right? I mean, lawyers' fees. $350. Less than an hour.
All right, folks. Well, sound off in the chat and let us know what you all think. Do we have any people in the tech field? You guys are living and breathing this stuff. What do you see going on in the workforce? I know you see a lot of immigrants working in these fields. Are they better trained? What's your solution to this? Because we need people who are sort of specialized in those areas to tell us what's going on. Share in the comments. We'll read what you say. All right, so we're going to change gears a little bit. We were just talking about the young people. Now we're talking about seniors. Seniors being trafficked. Yes, we said that right. So Spotlight on Maryland uncovered a shadow network of unlicensed assisted living homes in Baltimore, row houses, and small apartments warehousing elderly and disabled neighbors for their Social Security and disability checks. Take a look. This is clip 4.
Quiet generation slowly slipping away and nobody's noticing.
We trace addresses that received multiple 911 calls of seniors in need of services living at the same address. After pressing for answers, we obtained a list of 119 suspected unlicensed facility locations that the city has been monitoring of seniors packed in apartments and single-family homes with no license for assisted living facilities, no inspection, no oversight. What happens inside many of these locations is stuffed in the state's own records that we reviewed. A 74-year-old man found outside an alleged unlicensed assisted living home covered in maggots. Another 77-year-old man discovered lying in a bed covered in feces, a soiled diaper found in his mouth. And a 60-year-old woman unable to walk who fought to get her phone back so she could call 911. Medical institutions short on beds discharge what insiders call complex cases, who are often poor or disabled seniors. These vulnerable elders often end up in whichever facility will take them the fastest. Unlicensed operators charge between $600 to $1,000 a month, often capturing residents' Social Security or disability benefits, experts say. Meanwhile, according to attorneys, licensed assisted facilities typically cost $4,000 per month. The gap creates an underground economy advocates call senior trafficking.
It has been identified by a number of different actors or stakeholders in the community. We've come together to try to fix a problem that everyone saw.
Weeks into 2023, after winning his election, Attorney General Anthony Brown pushed to make operating an unlicensed assisted living facility a felony that could be immediately prosecuted. Zach Shirley, director of the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit in the AG's office, advocated for the bill before the Senate Finance Committee.
History has shown that some predatory unlicensed assisted living facility operators will never and should never be licensed. Their facilities are deplorable and their services do more harm than good.
Every state elected official who voted approved the crackdown on unlicensed assisted living facilities, empowering the AG to prosecute. Governor Westmore signed the bill into law. Our team confirmed with the AG's office that there's been only one referral from the Office of Healthcare Quality, regulatory arm of the state health department. The Attorney General declined to prosecute the Anne Arundel County complaint, citing insufficient evidence. That means 0 prosecutions, 0 cases brought against unlicensed assisted living facilities in Maryland, despite a unified push to reform.
Wow. All right. So, families are begging for help. Hospitals discharge complex cases into the shadows. Operators cash in. And if you claim to care about justice and equity, start with protecting our seniors. Shelley, who's accountable for this?
I'm going to say it, big government. And let me tell you why. This is a classic example of supply and demand. Many of these people, some of the cases that Gary cited there, Those are, I would say, representative. Okay, they're not extreme. Okay, they're representative. That's number one. That's number one. Number two, the cases he talked about, these people are very sick, coming out of the hospital. There are no places to place them. There's no, so this demand for services, demand for care, up comes the supply. I say big government because guess what? Social Security doesn't cover $4,000 a month. Doesn't cover that for them, for many of them, or the eligibility requirements they can't meet because they don't have enough income to go into the better facilities. So there you go. Aunt Susie got a house, or, neighbor Jack has a house. And so he brings in 2 or 3 people, allows them to stay there, but they got to eat. He has to feed them, clothe them, things like that, 3 hots and a cot. So he has to be paid for something, right? So they can afford $1,000 a month. It's almost like a babysitter.
Yeah.
It's almost like meeting that need. And again, I'm not saying that.
What is big government doing?
Social Security. Social Security. These people think that Social Security, that they worked into the system, they get Social Security or they get Social Security disability. They think it's going to cover that $4,000. It's not. It covers. It might cover 1,000. It might cover less than that, but it doesn't cover. But these people think that they've paid into the system however long, and yet they're not getting the return on investment. That's why I say, give us our damn Social Security back. We can have health savings accounts, whatever. But this is a classic case of supply and demand. I granted there may be some cases of abuse, things like that, but the supply of houses or facilities, they are meeting the demand at the income level that the people can afford.
And but that income level is getting the maggots in their mouths.
Because go ahead.
So here's the thing. When you don't have the access to work a really decent job for the majority of your adult life, the amount of money that you've amassed in your Social Security account is much lower, much lower. So here you are, old, sick. Your family can't provide for you because you're too sick to live in their households.
Right.
So what do? You go to the hospital. They show up at the ER. We get them stabilized. If we have a bed and they got something underlying, we might keep them a couple days. But when people say, oh, the hospital turned them out, hospitals aren't senior centers. They're not designed to keep Nana long term. So what happens when the cost, and I'm going to tell you, $4,000 is cheap.
That's still cheap.
The amount of money I put out for my father's care, in addition, my dad had 2 careers across the span of his lifetime. In addition to the money that he put in, I put in several $1,000s to make sure he had appropriate care. And I still had to pop up on them bastards at least once a month to make sure that they were doing what they were supposed to do. Imagine you don't have those resources. You don't have a daughter that's going to pop up on them. That's how you end up with a diaper in your mouth, laying in a pool of feces. It is absolutely supply and demand. Now let's talk about the people who work in this industry.
Well, that's what I was about to say, because they're not saying these are relatives or family members.
No,
they're saying somewhere to live.
The relatives and family members can't take care of them.
Right. So they're saying that these are supposed to be companies or senior living places that are supposed to provide this care.
They're not. Many of them that Gary's talking about, they're not licensed.
They're not licensed.
They're not licensed. So that healthcare quality organization, they're not even able to keep up to go out and do the sufficient audits and surveys to make sure the facilities are at least clean or whatever the case may be. Because the demand is so much. The people are sick. They are really sick, and there's so many more people that are sick that the government can't oversee it. So there has to be some place for them to go. When hospitals release you, hospitals are a business. People, contrary to popular belief, they're not just in it for the altruism factor. They are in it to make $1. They need beds. They need beds to keep being empty so they can put someone else in them, like a revolving door.
So we call it a revenue cycle.
Exactly.
They have to go.
That's it. So they have to send the people out somewhere. They call it a safe discharge. A safe discharge basically means you have a house, 3 hots and a cot. Okay. You have a place to go.
Well, 2 hots.
Or whatever. Or you got a place to go. The place is safe, if you will, as far as safe. They don't have any reason to suspect that it's not. Put it like that. Let me say it that way. Okay. So where does the abuse come in, or the neglect, whatever? It comes in some of the examples that Gary mentioned in that interview. Some of those examples. Now, I will say this. Not all of them, of course, by no means are all of these unlicensed facilities to that extreme. But what he has shown, it's not uncommon.
Exactly.
I'll say it that way.
So when you take a look at how are we allow seniors to age here in the United States. It's different than the rest of the world. People hold on to their seniors as long as they can, and we pretty much do. But the first sign of illness that's going to take more than 10 minutes of my time, we have to find a place for mom. They literally have a company called Find a Place for Mom that helps you find the place. Here's the problem. If mom doesn't have money and you don't have money, where's mom going to go? You end up at, I hate to call them shady because many of them are not, to an assisted living home, right? It may be like upstairs in the studio. We got 2 beds, we're going to take 2 seniors in, we're going to feed them breakfast, this and that. The problem is when the medical part starts to happen, like the woman who had urinary retention, a very serious thing. So she's scrambling and trying to get her cell phone, but she can't walk.
Right.
Right. And I'm sure the gentleman that was covered in feces
Why? Because dementia.
Likely he has dementia. He has some sort of cognitive deficit. And those kind of things are hard to handle even when you are a trained professional.
Right.
But these homes don't really have trained professionals. They might have 2 GNAs, in a homie whose house it is, and everybody's getting a little bit of bread on it. But unless you've paid into Social Security significantly, and even if you have, go get yourself a senior plan,
an IRA, a 401, whatever you can. All those
things. Get yourself. Yes. They have insurance plans specifically for going into certain type of homes. When we have our family reunion for my family, myself and my 5 siblings, we talk about these things well before any of us need it, so that we know what the plan is, how things are going to progress, what we want to do. Most people don't. They just age.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because as you all know, this is a conservative platform here. We are all conservatives on the right. But when do we say our seniors deserve more, and who is responsible for that? So let's say we do have situations where, you have families who don't have the money to provide this medical care for our seniors. And the conservative viewpoint is we don't believe in all of these social programs. So who's supposed to take care of the seniors then?
Primarily family.
Right.
So primarily family. But again, there should always be, again, I've said this, as much as I want government small, I'm open to having a small safety net, right? Yes. For the truly indigent. I understand that. But we also need to add in the economic factor. And Social Security is not a return on investment, a positive return on investment. It is not. It is not going to cover the long-term needs that people have as we age, expecting to get it back from Social Security. No. So back to the culture, back to the mindset, back to the teaching. We need to certainly educate our people, Americans, that Social Security is not your best bet. In fact, it's a negative return.
Exactly.
And again, that's why I keep saying, give us our money back. I'm talking about the money we paid in.
You may be right.
That's what I'm saying.
When you go to other countries, first of all, a lot of the elderly are much healthier than we are here in the United States as we age. These people are still 80 years old and older, moving and shaking and doing a lot of things that not many 80-year-old or older Americans can do. But it's not even part of the vocabulary to put your elderly in a home. It's just not. I mean, we just talked about Chinese, Asian countries. They have grandma, grandpa, great-grandma, everybody living with the younger people.
Yes.
So are we supposed to become like that? Are we supposed to, is it the mindset supposed to change where we need to now start thinking, okay, when mom and dad get old and get, and need help, they're supposed to come live with us
until they can't. So here's the thing. The people that he's talking about aren't just old, they're old and infirmed. So when we talk about conservative principles, yes, we believe in smaller government. Yes, we do not believe in a bunch of social programs, but we do believe wholeheartedly in caring for the elderly, caring for the infirmed, and children born into abject poverty. We have always held those tenets.
Right.
That's not new. The problem is there are more baby boomers than we can handle. And they've been talking about this for at least 20 years in healthcare. What do we do with the baby boomers? What happens when they overpower the system? Well, this is what happens.
This is what's happening.
This is what happens. So smart money is on people like me and Shelly starting our own chain of homes, right? But in doing that, starting our own chain of homes means that we have to find the appropriate type of worker who has the mentality to deal with this. When you think of people who go into these lower level or entry level parts of healthcare, they don't really know what they want to do with their lives.
Right.
You know what I mean? They come in as a ER tech or CNA or DNA, and they just, want to see what medicine's about. They may not stay around long enough to be appropriately trained. So what happens then? Who's taking care of Nana? Because Nana's got issues.
Exactly. And let me say this. There was a comment. Can we?
Yeah, we do have. Let's look at some of the super chats, please.
Super chats.
Thank you all so much. Please, your super chats help to keep us online.
Absolutely.
We appreciate each and every one.
Thank you, Chadwick, again with your $2 super chat. Thank you. He says his my entire IT department is Nigerian.
Yeah,
okay.
That's normal.
Simply Ashby. Thank you. Hi, Simply Ash. AI has replaced lots of tech jobs.
Yep.
Yeah. Shantia Frazier for the $10 super chat. Thank you. Okay, Shantia, she said 15 to 20 patients per CNA. Low pay.
Yep.
Medical charts are still paper in some cases. Yes. Easy money for administrators from government. Absolutely right. And let me say this. This is why I say big government. That 15 to 20 patients per CNA is a state policy.
Yep.
So this is when the government comes in and tells the medical people how, this is what you can have. Of course, administrators are going to go to that. Of course they are. Because why would they make it a lower ratio? Because to make it a lower ratio costs the administrators more. If this government says 15 to 20, then that's what they're going to get. That is number one. Some of those places, some of the ALFs, well, many of the ALFs have on paper because they're in the home. Right. They can't afford the technology like a hospital. They don't have that.
No EMR.
Right. And another thing about the CNA, GNAs, they don't have the medical expertise of the nurses and the doctors. But first of all, nurses and doctors, you're not going to find them working in an ALF like that. No, because they're not paying them that.
Let people know what ALF is.
ALF is assisted living facility. Those places have the CNAs and the GNAs there because number one, that's part of a safe discharge, right? They're there to make sure the patients don't get out, wander, things like that. They're there to feed them, keep them clean, and keep them safe. That's it.
Yeah, that's the job.
Yeah, we have another one here.
Tijuana, thank you. You still jumping the border. Thank you for your $10 super chat. Thank you, ladies, Mrs. Nicole, KJ, and Shelly E, all the hearts and things like that. Thank you. I'm always watching and supporting. I might miss the live streaming, but I'm always supporting. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
You so much.
It's a vicious cycle. And again, I'm not saying there should be zero regulations to make sure the health and things like that, the welfare, but big government, in this case, I'm talking about Social Security because it sets up a false premise in the mindset, I pay into Social Security, I'm going to have that. No. Give us our money back. Let us make health savings accounts, long-term care insurance, put the other part of the money in our IRA, a 401k, and we can invest for our own future.
Yeah. Folks, please sound off in the chat and let us know what you think. This will happen to all of us, sooner or later, or maybe some of us are going through it right now, dealing with our loved ones, our elderly loved ones, infirm, as Nicole mentioned. So sound off in the chat and let us know, what do you think should happen? What do you think should happen on this? So we will continue to follow this story. All right, so moving right along to Jasmine Crockett. Folks, is she actually becoming the new Tiffany Henyard? And let me say why. Okay, so we're exposing Jasmine Crockett, caught red-handed splashing thousands on luxury hotels and limos all outside her district, per FEC filings. Take a look here. This is clip 5.
The hog right now. And for a woman who is openly flirting with trying to run for Texas Senate seat against Senator either John Cornyn or whoever comes out of that primary, you are seeing a woman who's not spending an awful lot of time in Texas. That whole list of places she's been living high on the hog, I didn't see anything mentioning Dallas or Houston or Laredo or Amarillo. Right. She's all across the country making sure that she is getting taken care of, that her nails look fabulous, and that she is sounding off however she wants to.
I just kissed your sneakers. This is true. She's on camera saying she'll do the radio.
I am.
We're doing it. Future senator of the great state of Texas. I'm gonna miss Ted Cruz so much. He's so likable.
White liberal guilt is more addictive to wine moms than Botox, and it paralyzes them like Botox into this like frozen state of needy groveling. They're desperate for status approval. You talk about the wine moms, you can go from Mrs. Kimmel to that crazy Welch lady to the woman kissing the feet to the people who write for Law and Order and write a plot about how a woman won't charge a black man for rape because of systemic inequity. It's that kind of performative theater kids trying to appear, I don't know, so virtuously obedient that they're subservient, and they will actually sell out like Jennifer Welch does, sell out her, talk about her past, her family, her friends. They're just a bunch of white rednecks.
I think that it's really a good question as to why a member of Congress needs to pay for security out of money that they go and raise, instead of focusing on making sure that they use that money to educate voters about why it is that their candidacy matters. I do think that it does people like me a disservice when you are so outspoken. And then what happens is, instead of you being able to put all your dollars into campaigning, instead, you've got to do things like pay for your security. But I kind of value my life, so it is what it is. And it is what it is.
All right, let's get in this. First of all, I want to say this. I hope Jasmine Crockett stuck her whole foot in your mouth, you dumb woman. If you want to kiss her feet, I hope she sprayed her feet, her toes, and stuck them as far down your throat as she could, because you're stupid, you're dumb, you're an idiot. And white guilt is going to send you to the hospital with pus from her toes in your mouth. You're making me sick. Shelley, I mean, what is going on?
First of all, I hope she had toe jam when she stuck them in her mouth.
Y'all killing
I
me
hope
tonight.
she had toe jam. That was so
humiliating. I was humiliated for her.
It was, and she thinks she did something. You stupid asinine. It's called foot and mouth disease, but a lot of times babies get it because babies put their feet in their mouth a lot, right? But this is infantile.
Yeah, and I think she had her shoes on. I think she had her shoes on.
Her shoes on.
I mean, even Muslims will tell you to kick it up the bottom of the shoes to sign up this, demeaning you or whatever. Oh my gosh! But to Jasmine Crockett, this is what I'm going to say about your not being able to pay your bills or why you should buy security. Bitch, please. It's called budgeting, like every damn person else that works in the United States has to do. Budget your money. Now, I'm not saying people should be threatening you. No way, shape, or form. But bitch, please, you are not that damn important that you get to have my taxpayer money, or certainly the residents of Texas pay your security, and you already spending the damn money on everything else, but you're not even in Texas a lot. Bitch, please take your fingernails. Maybe KJ, maybe she stuck her fingernails up her ass and then spread it on her shoe, or maybe she stepped in some dog poop before that woman kissed them. And I hope they all get foot and mouth disease. This is disgusting. And Jasmine Crockett, again, budget your own balance on your sheets, bitch.
Well, tell us how you really feel.
Sick of these politicians. I mean, they just think that they are entitled to our money. They really do.
Yeah, they do.
She does. She has a very healthy sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
But she's also worth $9 million. So she
really,
yes, she can afford her own security.
Wow.
Listen,
I didn't know that.
Yes,
I've heard
she's worth $9 million
or something. But yeah, okay.
So when we go out on the road and we go into places that are not necessarily, sister and brother friendly or Republican friendly, we have to hire our own security. It's a part of the job. If you don't value your life, then stop making incendiary comments, do your job for your district, and go home and run your campaign just like everybody else in Texas does, right? But a security detail is expensive. Having a body man is expensive, but it is the cost of doing business because of people like Jasmine Crockett. She's the reason why we have to hire armed security. Her rhetoric is the reason why it costs us money to do that. And yes, fundraising is hard, especially when you're fundraising to protect people, because people are like, oh, I don't really want, I'll give you $20 to run for office, but I don't care about your security. So sometimes you have to foot the bill yourself. 9 million little reasons why you can afford it. Now, this comedian, lesbian.
She was serious though. She did kiss her feet.
Of course she kissed her feet. What's so funny is that's Stephanie Miller. She has a podcast. She wrote a book called
Kissing Feet.
Sexy American of Me or some foolishness. Now, her father was a fine Republican. He actually ran as vice presidential candidate with Barry Goldwater. He's no longer with us. I don't think he's gone on to glory. But all of this to say, the stunt that was supposed to be funny, the stunt that was supposed to, make everyone giggle, it made people cringe.
Yeah.
It's absolutely cringy.
It was very cringy. And particularly when you look at this laundry list of Crockett's luxury splurge. So, I mean, she, $75,000 of campaign cash on high-end hotels and top-tier limo service per the FEC. I mean, we're talking $10,000 at the Ritz-Carlton Miami. I wish I could stay there. $44,000 in New York City's Westin. None of this is in Dallas, the Dallas district. And limos. Who's still taking limos when we got Uber? $30,000 plus, including $8,000 to a Houston outfit that's hours away from her voters. I mean, if this isn't Tiffany Henyard, I don't know what's up with these Black girls. They really think they're queens. Yeah. Hey, queen.
Hey, queen.
No, you're not a queen. They really think they are. When you compare this to Tiffany Henyard, now you guys know who I'm talking about from Dalton in Illinois. The super mayor, they called her. They called it the United States worst mayor. Remember, she racked up $3.5 million village deficit while throwing $85,000 in taxpayer funded festivals. She paid for her hair, her makeup. I mean, the list went on. What is up with these Democrats?
That's the problem. See, I don't have a problem with people paying for your own security on your own dime. But when you want to come to me and then people like Jasmine Crockett, they don't even want me to be armed. See, I got to protect myself, right? I can't carry too many bags because I got to make sure I got a hand available to case I need to pull out one in the chamber, right? But bitches like her and Tiffany and all these other people who want to spend my money to protect them and then try to make me feel guilty about it so much that a damn white woman is going to kiss your feet. Fuck no. No way, no shape, no form.
Yeah, I mean, they said no kings. We needed no queens because these women really think they're queens. And you got white women who's bowing and kissing their feet.
Of course. And this is the thing. Somebody is helping them along with this thing. And it's interesting to see, again, when the DNC had their elections earlier in the year, you saw no Black women advance. Although they stood there and was like, be quiet, I'm talking, eyelashes, bald head and all that, didn't get them any leadership positions. But this is what happens when they say, I am the firebrand now. I am the party. You will bow. What you saw was Stephanie Miller, who has apparently the 23rd ranked podcast in the nation, get to her knees and kiss this woman's feet. What? White guilt is real, people. And it is the Democrat Party, tried and true. It works every single time.
I'm just trying to, I know it's a warped thinking, but what kind of thinking do you have to have that you would kiss another person's feet, shoes on, shoes off, I'm just saying black or white, but why would I don't
so in certain Indian Hindu
this ain't they American.
I know, but I'm saying, Kash Patel, when he was about to be sworn, you saw him walk past his mom, he kissed his hand and swiped it across her feet. That's respect. He didn't get down on his knees and get a mouthful of fungus or athlete's foot from a politician with a bun on top of her head.
No,
that's not what happens. This is
thinking,
white guilt.
Right, exactly. Where they believe that because of past historical wrongs like slavery, like Jim Crow, and so on and so forth, now they believe they have this warped thinking that they have to actually kiss the feet of Black people in order to somehow repent.
But wait a minute. Not all Black people.
Right.
Only
right.
Democrat Black people.
Right.
So we can take a look at what happened to Winsome Sears in
Democrat
Virginia.
people.
Right.
You mean Democrats, the one who gave us the KKK?
Right.
Those kind of people. The ones who actually advocated for Jim Crow and lynching.
Absolutely.
Those are the people they want to kiss the feet of.
Those are the ones who wouldn't stand for the little boy.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is ridiculous. It's actually funny to me. It is because honestly, I love to see Democrats kissing somebody's feet. I do, but it's really ridiculous.
It's cringy.
It's very cringy. It's very
really
cringy.
is. It's to me, it's beyond. It's really. I don't know, demeaning, it's so undignified. Like she doesn't really have any dignity left.
Well, these people. I mean, we got to understand, folks. Democrats, they're godless. Literally, they removed God from the platform, and they believe in all types of occult and things like this. So they are living to idolize someone. They constantly have to idolize. It's really a demonic spirit. It really is. And so anytime, right now they're idolizing Black Democrat women. Okay, tomorrow they'll be idolizing some other type of idol or whatever.
Furry.
Right? Yeah. They continue to do this. They continue because they don't have the Spirit of God in them. They don't have any purpose. God gives us purpose. He gives a calling for our lives, and because they continue to rebuke that, then they latch on to something else, and it's really sad. Wow. It really is.
It's heartbreaking because you think of all the little liberal girls that are in high school, that are first starting college, who listened to Stephanie Miller's podcast, saw that and was like, well, wait a minute. Maybe that's the way I get put on. I go around and kiss some feet. It is absolutely, it's so un-American.
It really,
it is so un-American. It is dehumanizing for both ends, because now she has this inflated sense of self, right? In perpetuity, it's all over the internet. And Stephanie Miller's dad is somewhere twirling in his grave. Twirling in his grave, not because his daughter is a gay,
she's gay.
Person. Yes. But because his daughter,
she probably like toes. She probably kissing toes.
Because
she
his
kissing
daughter,
the vGJs.
Slurping.
Now that makes a little bit more sense.
That don't make sense for me, but okay.
I should have never told them.
They don't like the penis going into the vagina.
So she want a foot in her mouth.
I should have never told them.
Now that makes sense.
So she wants a foot in her mouth instead of a penis. Because the other woman don't have no penis to stick in.
They love the lick. They love the lick. See, that's what it is.
Should have never told y'all. I should have never told you.
Sense. Now it makes sense. They got the lick. They got the lick something somewhere somehow. So she got down and licked them toes. All right. She would have came on up and licked us all. Okay, I see that.
All right, we got some super
chatters. There it is. Go on.
Got some super chatters here.
I cannot.
Okay, super chatters. Come on, producers. Where are they, D?
The producers are upstairs laughing.
Well, okay. Hi, Paul. Thanks for coming back again for your $19.99 super chat. Paul says he is just supporting our wonderful show.
Thank you, Paul Carrick. Thank you very much.
AT with your $2 super chat says, I need your takes on Megyn Kelly calling Ben out. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Whew, unfortunately, this is still going on.
Yeah,
this is still going on. We can talk about that. Maybe talk about Friday, maybe a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, we're running out of time tonight. But
Ginger H 450. Thank you for your $10 super chat. Says, I love when Shelly gets angry. Right there with your babe. Right back at your babe. So don't forget, everybody. See the crawl. We need some lipstick. We're running out. We are running out. So drop us some cash apps, if you will. $1 just for two. Well, how much is the lipstick now at Ulta?
Mine is about
$7.
$15,
okay.
$20.
$7.
$7. Oh, I thought it was
17, girl.
Okay.
17.
So anyway, don't forget that. And also, Nicole, where can we get our merchandise?
Oh, yeah. Go to our website. Poppinpolitics.com.
Yep, or the front
page,
Dashery page. Facebook,
right.
The YouTube
page. It's Dashery.com. So if you go to the bottom of our page, you will see the best t-shirt to wear to your Thanksgiving dinner. If you're a family like mine and you don't get dressed up, let me tell you, Thanksgiving is the time for starting shit. This is the shit starter, right?
Yeah,
this
is where it is.
Yeah, starter. You get yourself this. You get yourself a trucker hat. You walk in there with your potato salad or your yams, and you throw your shit down and be like, now what? He's your president. Okay. So it's
a good idea.
I'm telling you.
That is a very good
I'm already playing. I already got my stuff.
Yeah.
I even have they have a great sticker that goes on laptops for those of us who do that kind of thing. I have it on mine at work.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna wear mine on Thanksgiving. Yeah,
start you some excitement.
No, I would start.
Okay, can I ask something?
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna put this out to the audience.
Yeah.
Right? People ask. I put this. I come up with these little sayings, and I posted it on Instagram. So people ask me. I'm gonna put this out here to see if you can pressure us to get this T-shirt made. Right?
Oh.
2 T-shirts. One thing, Nicole just said it. Poop starter. We could get a shirt for poop and put starter on there. Right? That's just I did. And then what I said on Instagram was in regards to trans women. I still get confused.
Lord.
I said, if you have a set of balls, stay out of our stalls. That's what
now, see, that's a T-shirt. That is a gym shirt. That is absolutely a gym shirt.
So anyway, but yeah,
we're getting close to the Christmas holidays.
We want to have some fun.
You know, you want to have a good time with your family. You want a conversation starter. You going over to your in-laws and they gave you grief about, Trump during the election. This is your time to get your lick back. I'm telling you. Buy your father-in-law an unapologetically American hat and get your mother-in-law a Maryland Man T-shirt, right? Start some real shit. It's a bunch of fun. And listen, a good way to support our program and to get our word out about being unapologetically American. And in all seriousness, they do make very good gifts. And it is a good thing, especially for college-age people, older teenagers, to really start that conversation about what it means to be a good American.
All right. Well, there you have it. And folks, breaking news tonight, President Trump signed the bill. He signed the bill to reopen the government. So we can fly again, I guess.
That's good. I'm glad they'll get paid. So.
Yeah. So, yep, there he is. They are signing it. The House just passed the bill to end the Schumer shutdown.
That's what it's being called.
Yeah. So, yep, that's another conversation starter.
Poor old chat.
On Thanksgiving. We got another super chat to close out the night. All right. Let's see here.
Thunderer's Wrath. Thank you for your $10 super chat. He says, love your ladies. Nicole is adorable when she shares and then regrets it.
Yep.
All 3 of you have your mind set on right. It is a pleasure to watch you all. God blesses you all. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That is so sweet.
Thank you so much. God bless you. And folks, all right. So if you missed yesterday on the All American Talk Show, they were on breaking down the latest in news. Check them out at All American Talk. You don't want to miss it. Great news program. They're going to bring you the latest in news, and they're right here on the Metro Conservative Media platform. And then tomorrow you can check out me at KJ Christian Conservative. I am joined by Michelle. We are breaking down the latest also from a biblical perspective at KJ Christian Conservative right there. Check me out tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Also, Just the Guys podcast on Saturday at 6:30. Actually, they won't be on this Saturday, but you can still check out the channel and subscribe and stay up to date when they do post new content. So that's at Just the Guys podcast.
All right.
We have another super.
Yep.
Yes, we do. Okay. Let's see here.
Gloria, haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Gloria Beardsley, thank you for your $20 super chat. Says these boots were made for walking, go dancing, and more. Just gorgeous.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Gloria. Nice. Okay. All right, folks, that does it for us tonight. Again, if you haven't done so, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and we appreciate the support. Also, if you're watching and you still haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for?
Subscribe.
That's right.
Yes, subscribe. Join our community, join our family here right on Pop and Politics. Also, share this broadcast, send it in a DM, in a text message, post it on your social media. We're trying to grow. Our goal is to hit 250,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we need your help. All right, folks, thank you all so much. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.